Hey everyone, Keith TCG here. I was in the middle of making a Sanji video, but a Brook Leader just came out, and I've been waiting for a Brook Leader since the very first set. I am like the #1 Brook fan, so I just had to make a video once I knew that the Brook Leader came out. So there's two cards to discuss today, and there's a lot of questions I've seen around the Brook Leader. So I just wanted to make a video to clarify some things and also to kind of theory craft before the support comes out and we get a more solid deck list. So first of all, we have the Brook Leader. It's a green-black leader with 5,000 power and 4 life, Straw Hat Crew type, and slash. Then, according to the rules, you don't lose the game for having 0 cards in your deck. Instead, at the end of the turn where your deck became 0, you lose the game. Then activate main once per turn, place the top 4 cards of your deck into your trash. Then, if your deck is 0 cards, set one of your characters as active. So, first of all, to clarify the rules thing, you don't lose the game when your deck hits 0, but once your deck hits 0, you have to win on that same turn, or you lose. Once you pass, you lose no matter what, even if you refill your deck with trash recursion effects like 6 cost Luffy from OP10. It still does not save you, you will still lose at the end of that turn. So, quick clarification on that, there's actually some debate on whether this is the actual ruling or not. I did talk to a lot of my judge friends and friends who know how to speak Japanese. I do also read Japanese a bit myself, and from our interpretations, it seems like this is the ruling. So until there's a further FAQ that says that you can refill your deck and not lose, I'm going to assume this is how it works. If it does change in the future, there will be a pinned comment or something along those lines to say that that's not how it works. Right? So this restanding ability is sort of like, okay, I need to go for lethal this turn and I know I can win the game here, or I lose anyways, so I'll do it. But that doesn't mean that the leader is bad. A lot of people think that it's bad because you're a vanilla leader, quote unquote, until your very last turn. But milling 4 cards in a black deck is actually really good. Being able to get 4 cards into your trash and kind of knowing all of the cards in your deck is really good, and you can still recur cards before you hit 0 to sort of outgrind your opponents. If you've ever played Lucci or Moria, the milling is the best part of their leader abilities. Black-Yellow Moria right now runs 1 cost Sindri. Sanji, Blue-Purple right now runs Teardrops event to mill, so having that mill engine be baked into the leader as an activate main as well that you can just do for free essentially is still really good, and there's still some potential for it. And then before I talk about card choices, I want to talk about the other card that got revealed today, which is the Brook SR. This is a really good card in general. It's a 6 cost, 6,000 power, Straw Hat Crew type, 1k cancer, green character with slash attribute. On play, rest up to one of your opponent's cards, and then activate main, you may trash this character. If your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, set up to one of your characters with a base cost of 8 or less as active. So some things to note about this one is that 1, you can rest any card, if the translation is correct here. I read the Japanese as well, and it seems like it is correct, which means you can rest a character, a Dawn, a stage, whatever you want, basically. So anything that's on the field, you can rest with Brook. You'd probably use this more for resting characters more than anything, but being able to rest any cost character as well is really good. And then pair that with the second ability, which allows you to restand an 8 or less. Mind you, 8 or less, any type. It's not Straw Hat locked. It's just your leader has to be Straw Hat type. Let's say you have like an 8 cost 10k on the board, you can restand that. The primary target that I found right now are the 6 cost secret Luffys. The black Luffy allows you to rip 2 cards from your opponent's hand depending on their hand size. Every time it attacks, it rips 1 card, right? So if you restand it, you're basically ripping 2 cards, unless they counter to go below the threshold. But the real star of the restand is the green secret Luffy, which has double attack, which means that you're swinging for 2 double attack swings. 7k at least, but you'll probably boost it. And also, you rested 1 card of this Brook, which means that there's probably 1 less blocker or counter event that blocks your attack. You can also set up the Brook so you can play it on a previous turn, attack with it, and then trash it to restand, so that the restand is practically free. This Brook is also really good in other Straw Hat decks that are green, like Green Zoro and Blue-Green Zoro and Sanji. 6,000 power stat line is really good for Zoro and Sanji, because that means they can just attach one Dawn to it and attack with it twice, or it can restand something to make it attack 3 times instead of 2 times, right? And in Zoro, it's just because Zoro is a Straw Hat crew type, and you can probably just play like 8 cost Mihawk again or something like that if you really wanted an 8 cost. Let's move on to other cards that you can include in this deck. So, like I said, Milling 4 is really good in black decks. So, I built a few deck lists, and I think this is the one that I like the most here, which is a more black-centric list. I only run like a few green cards here, but that's because the current trash recursion cards, being Manchuri and Rebecca, those two can only grab black cards, sadly, so you can't grab your green cards from trash. However, with Manchuri and Shirahoshi in the deck, you are able to put it back into your deck. And 6 cost Luffy also allows you to do this, along with 5 cost Luffy. You can put cards back in the deck and stack it however you want, so you can know which cards are at the bottom of your deck. And then I also included Elizabello II. So with how fast you're milling with your leader ability, Elizabello allows you to return 20 cards, which means you know the bottom 20 cards in your deck, and also have a pressure body with a 15k swing and double attack, maybe even banish if you play Rhino Schneider. You can also restand this with the 6 cost Brook. Yeah, the mill engine's really strong, and you have ways to return those cards back to your deck so you know what cards are coming up next, and also just having access to your entire deck, essentially using 4 cost Rebecca and 1 cost Manchuri. I also included Kina and Laboon and also 3 cost Brook for that black removal engine. Because of how much you're milling, I think you can just include a few of these and then just play Rebecca and KO something, because there are still matchups where you want to remove stuff, and being able to restand 3 cost Brook or 5 cost Luffy in order to remove 2 things a turn is a pretty powerful play by itself, in my opinion. Then I'll just quickly talk about the other choices I have here. The 6 cost Sabo is just a 2k counter option that you can play for cheap. 3 cost 6k blocker, because you mill so fast, you'll get to 15 cards in trash really quickly with your leader ability. And then of course we have Ground Death. It's a black staple at this point. It's a plus 4k counter. Since we're a green deck, we probably have some kind of Dawn restand ability, but even if we don't, it's still a negate something effect option that we have if we really want to remove something with Brook, for example, or if we just want something like Unrestable to get rested by 6 cost Brook, something like that, right? But yeah, so again, this is just Theorycrafting. I'm just kind of exploring what the Brook deck can be here. It's a day 1 deck list. We don't have any support other than 6 cost Brook, so I think that this deck can be a lot of things. It can be aggro, it can be control, it can be a mix of both, which I find really amusing. Just messing around with these cards and making this sample list has kind of made me a lot more positive about the leader's ability and potential with the right support. Also, there's a lot of cards that I haven't talked about, like the 8 cost Kobe, for example. So if you have any other suggestions of cards that can work in this deck, do let me know. Also, small update on my channel. I'm going to make a Sanji video guide in a similar style to this. I'm sort of experimenting with this style and I'm liking it a lot, so do let me know if you like watching this or if you'd like some gameplay video instead. I do also have a Twitch channel and a Discord server now, which will be linked in the description below. If you want to watch more gameplay, then Twitch is right there, and the Discord is there to notify my viewers for any new guides, videos, or streams coming up. Alright, that should be everything. I'll see you in the next video. Alright, thanks for watching.